Welcome back to the channel. This is the Earth Science Classroom. This video is on meteorology and atmospheric science, and in this video we are discussing what lake effect snow is. So what actually is it, how this kind of snow in terms of accumulation forms, and the factors which go into forming lake effect snow. This is the Earth Science Classroom. Firstly, snow only happens with certain atmospheric conditions whereby you have a certain temperature of the air, you have a certain temperature of the clouds, you have a certain amount of moisture and water vapor condensing over the LCL and the dew point, and the water droplets are going to change and convert into individual ice crystals that can combine and coalesce to form various sizes and shapes and accumulations of snow. And as they precipitate from the cloud onto the Earth's surface, they accumulate on the Earth's surface based on the temperature, and how long they last is based on various environmental factors. So to have snow in certain areas of the world, you need certain conditions, and lake effect snow is no different. You're going to have certain areas of the world which have these conditions that produce lake effect snow, which are higher than average snow accumulations over a short period of time. And these areas where you have lake effect snow are called snow belts. Now, these snow belts, or these areas that experience lake effect snow, are going to happen during certain months of the year based on the hemisphere, based on location. Obviously, you need to have a lake to have lake effect snow, and you need also various atmospheric conditions, including the wind temperature, direction, and the availability of moisture. So the lake is going to provide that moisture, that amount of water vapor that's going to be added into the lower troposphere to combine with the air temperature and the wind to create lake effect snow. To form lake effect snow, you first need a lake, which is a large body of water, usually inland and surrounded by land. And why is this important? Well, water in general has a high specific heat capacity, which means it is slow to absorb and slow to release heat or thermal energy, which means it is a good climate regulator, especially oceans. However, with smaller inland lakes or seas, you have that enclosed land around it, which is generally colder, especially during the winter months. So when you have this cold air mass, this higher pressure pushing cold air over the land and then eventually over this warmer body of water, the lake, and the air could be anything between -5 degrees Celsius down to -25 degrees Celsius, and this would create a very cold prevailing wind that is moving over the lake consistently. And you create a difference in temperature between the air moving over the lake and the lake itself. So it has to be a larger difference in temperature than 10 degrees Celsius. So this difference will create the right conditions to form lake effect snow. You need certain factors that are present over this lake to create lake effect snow. So you have that cold continental air mass moving over the lake from the land, which is generally drier and cold, and the water in the lake ranges between 1 degree and 4 degrees. So it's cold, but it's mostly unfrozen. You might have some ice accumulation on the surface, but you have this stark difference in temperature between the lake and the air. The lake will produce water vapor and moisture that's going to rise up above the lake and interact with the cold air mass that is moving over the lake, and this creates the dew point, and at a certain altitude, which is the LCL, and you'll get saturation and the formation of clouds and ice crystals based on the temperature of the ambient air, and you start to get this snow accumulation and the formation and development of snow squalls. When conditions are present over the lake to create lake effect snow, what you'll have is the development of snow squalls, these large, intense, high volume amounts of snow precipitating over a certain area of the lake downwind. So once the colder air mass has come over the lake, interacted with the large volumes of moisture and water vapor coming off the lake because it's warmer and producing these large amounts of snow, it's going to occur downwind on the shoreline of the lake and producing a large accumulation of snow during certain times of the year. Now, this is based on the amount of ice cover on the surface of the lake. The more ice, the less moisture gets out or into the air or released from the lake, and also the size of the lake, the temperature of the lake, the temperature of the air mass and the movement of the air, and how long it takes the residence time of the air over the lake. So the more time the wind has to move over this larger lake, potentially the more water vapor it can accumulate and interact with and create larger amounts of cloud formation and ice crystals and snow. So a lot of factors are required to produce this lake effect snow. From an aerial perspective, this is what the system looks like in terms of, on the left-hand side, you have this colder land continental area. The air mass is coming off this part of the continent over this large inland lake or sea that is cooled but not as cold in terms of producing the moisture and water vapor required to mix and interact with the cold air mass, causing large amounts of cloud formation, cloud bands, and snow squalls are formed, and this snow belt occurs downwind based on the topography and the elevation of the shoreline downwind of this air mass, and you get the production of lake effect snow. Again, based on certain times of year, based on the temperature of the lake and the air mass and the direction and speed of that air mass moving over the inland lake to create this large amounts of snow. This is the Earth Science Classroom. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, please subscribe, like, and share. And if you want more content and videos on Earth Science, please check out my channel.